Hello! So today I'm going to be reviewing Book 2 in the Vita Nostra trilogy, Assassin of Reality. Written by Marina and Sergey Dyachenko. Sorry about that, I'm pretty sure I've mispronounced the name there. That's Sergey Dyachenko, not Sergey Dyachenko. Apologies. And sadly, in 2022, Sergey Dyachenko passed away. There have been other books in the Vita Nostra universe that have been translated into English, that I haven't read. But for fans of the first book, Vita Nostra, this sequel and its translation is highly anticipated. Now, it is impossible for me to review this book, Assassin of Reality, without completely ruining the first book, Vita Nostra. So, if you have not read Vita Nostra, I strongly suggest you click off now. For the fans of the first book who are definitely going to read this book, I am going to try and keep this review spoiler free. And for those of you who aren't interested in reading either of these books, but you're just here for, I don't know, I'm not sure what you'll be here for, but if you're just here for something else other than that, then yeah, fill your boots. In the first book, our protagonist, Sasha, ends up at a college called the Institute for Special Technologies. Side note, comparisons have been made to the first book and that of Harry Potter, a lot of people terming it the Russian Harry Potter. I can see why some people may come to that conclusion, but if you have read Vita Nostra, you will know that is not the case at all. But in essence, it is a magic school. And in this school, the students learn to manipulate the planes of time and reality. Vita Nostra was deliberately weird and intriguing and confusing, but you just wanted to keep going, even though for 50% of it, you have absolutely no idea what is going on. The writing was just really solid, and it just kept you constantly intrigued and going on this journey with Sasha. You, much like Sasha, were really confused by the world and trying to figure things out, and it was done so well, it just made you want to keep reading and reading and reading. And at the end of that first book, Sasha is in her third year, and she is about to take her final exam to see whether she will progress and become what they call the word of speech. And the end of the first book is left on a huge cliffhanger. You just don't know what's happened to her. Does she advance? Does she evaporate into the planes of time, which can happen? We just don't know. Now, in order to tell you anything about this book, I am going to have to tell you what happens. I can't talk about this book without saying that. So if you don't want to know what happens directly after the end of the first book, then I suggest you click off now, because it is just an impossible task for me to talk about it without mentioning things, you know? But we find out that Sasha indeed failed her final exam, and she goes into this sort of plane of non-existence. However, her mentor throughout the first book, Farit, doesn't want to let go. So he brings her back in order for her to train in her fourth year. Farit bringing her back causes quite a few tensions between the students and the faculty at the college. But he refuses to let her fail. And then she's back at college. She's in her fourth year, and some familiar faces from the faculty and the students in the first book pop up. A lot of the students who we meet in the first book are indeed alongside with her in their fourth year. However, we have now jumped 15 years into the future. That's how much time has passed while Sasha was sort of lost in the kind of planes of reality or non-existence, or I don't know. But time and the passing of time doesn't really matter in the world this book creates. Also, there's some parallel universe stuff in here as well with an alternative Sasha, but I just haven't got the energy to explain all of that, and also I think it'll be spoiling a bit too much. But yeah, there's time travel, there's parallel universes. Things do shift around a bit in this book. Sasha has changed in her time away. She's got this newfound confidence, this new willing to progress, and she's not ready to take shit from any of the faculty. She used to be so nervous around everyone, and she has this new kind of found confidence going into her fourth year. There is also a love story in this book, and that idea of love and her connection to this person really does play a part in her understanding her newfound abilities and her advancement within her fourth year. But I don't really want to go into too many details on that one. And you know what? I'm going to leave that there, actually, as far as kind of story and plot is concerned. I've probably given away a bit too much already, so I'm going to leave that there as not to spoil anything more. So let's just crack on with what I liked and what I didn't like. What I liked. The writing style is still solid and flows beautifully across the page. The tone that is set is still mysterious, intriguing, and really philosophical, and I just loved it for that. I genuinely really enjoyed being back in this world and uncovering the kind of mysteries and the mechanics of this sort of magic system that the college presents both Sasha and us as a reader. All in all, it just flows really well, and I whipped through this one very quickly. And I do want to reiterate, because I feel I might get a bit of backlash over what's coming up next, I do want to reiterate that I genuinely liked and enjoyed being back in the world of this novel. I did. However, we're going to have to move on to what I disliked, because that is the end of the things that I kind of liked with this book. So, what didn't I like about it? The story felt quite weak. Yeah, quite thin. Other than a few character traits and a couple of the mechanics of the magic system being broadened a little bit, I don't know, it didn't really advance much. The world didn't really grow that much in this book. There is a love interest, a sort of love story in there, and that kind of connects to the magic system a little bit, and Sasha as a character and her purpose. But even then, it felt a little tacked on and didn't really, just nothing advanced that much. This just didn't really feel like a sequel. It felt like a small little companion piece to Vita Nostra. Now, maybe that's exactly what this book was supposed to be, and I have just misinterpreted the marketing, but from everything I've read, it does say Book 2. Vita Nostra was just over 500 pages long, and this book, Assassin of Reality, is just over 250, and that drop in page count is really noticeable. It ends before it really begins. It just felt a little, Vita Nostra did a fantastic job of setting up this mysterious and philosophical and intriguing world that left me just as confused at the end as I was at the start, but I kind of really loved it for it. And this book just doesn't really add anything. And it's really frustrating, because I genuinely enjoyed being back in this world. As soon as I started it, that familiar feeling came over me, as I had with Vita Nostra. I felt like I was in safe hands, especially as the prose and the writing style was concerned. And I was really excited. And it just, and I honestly don't regret reading this sequel. I don't regret reading it, because there are lots of things, that big cliffhanger at the end, that I was dying to know the answers to. And this book does give me those answers, or some of those answers. So I was happy with that, and I suppose the book was kind of worth it for that alone. But I was expecting something so much more. If you enjoyed the first book, or you were a massive fan of the first book, then definitely pick this one up. You're gonna have a good time, because it's nice being back in the world, and it does answer a few of those questions. However, I would go into this one treating it more like a short little companion piece to Vita Nostra, as opposed to a sequel that's going to expand upon the world that's already been built. So there you go, that's my thoughts and feelings on Assassin of Reality, Book 2 in the Vita Nostra trilogy. Little disappointed, to say the least, but glad I read it, but I was just hoping for something a little bit more. I'm going to give it 2 stars out of 5, because the writing and the tone is still fantastic. So, have you read this book, or did you enjoy the first one? Have you read this one? What did you think about it? Just really, I'm intrigued to see if anyone is in the same position as me in being a little bit disappointed by it. But if you did love it and you think I'm totally wrong, then please let me know in the comments below. Just want to say thank you very much for watching, everyone. I hope you're well, and I'll see you on the next one.